Ciao e benvenuto.
We caught ourselves off guard there. We were just doing prep, and it's like, oh god, we're about to go live. Welcome to day 2 of the Bogey Men's live Ryder Cup show. I don't think anyone expected to have extended the European lead, but goodness, what a morning! I mean, I woke up a little late. I didn't watch the first tee shots. I joined the first group, and they were on the fourth hole. And already we were up in 2 of the games, tied in 2, and I was like, oh goodness. And then it started going bluer and bluer and bluer. And I mean, I said Europe would win 3 points today.
Yeah,
Realistically,
in total,
not in the morning session. And I mean, obviously, couldn't be more delighted to have been wrong. Michael, let's first thoughts in the morning before we get into the nuts and bolts of the day.
It's like the Americans just didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
Like I actually think Thomas and Spieth put up a bit of a fight, but your stat that you told me on them,
they hit 3 fairways the entire round.
Like
3 fairways. That's like we hit more fairways than that.
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, like you Ryder Cup, whatever. But like people were talking and the Sky Sports commentators and everyone were saying that this is a very different driving test to what France was. So France, you couldn't see where you're meant to be driving to and where your landing zones were. Whereas here, it's all out there in front of you. So yeah, people are going to be giving out, and the Americans, trust me, they're going to kick off a stink. Course setup is awful. Driving was horrendous. Rough was blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, Europeans need to play the exact same golf course. They all hit fairways. You're missing fairways. That's not on course setup. That's on you.
I also think it's not set up like Paris was. Paris was set up to screw the Americans, and I think
I'm gonna get you to move in a little bit here. You can see you're just out of the front a tiny bit.
Yeah, I think Paris was set up to screw the Americans, and I don't think Marco Simone is. I think it's set up really fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's there. Like I know people were saying that they have the patrons, spectators. What do we call the spectators?
Yeah.
Spectators.
Patrons are only in Augusta.
Only in Augusta. That they're back a little bit, so they don't trample down some of the fairway or some of the rough. But like that's really about it. So I don't think they can complain about the golf course at all.
I don't think so. So before we get into the trouncing that was the morning foursomes, what do you think each captain said to their teams last night? I think. Let's start with the European team. You had a record day. You had the best day you could have ever dreamt of, better than you probably dreamt of if you're Luke Donald. US didn't score a single point or like win a single point. They obviously like halved a bunch of matches, but you shut them out essentially. What are you saying to your team?
I think he'd be like, listen, we need to keep this train running. That we're running down the hill, and we're just going to pick up speed, and we're just going to get better and better and better, and we just got to keep pushing it. And keep doing the same things we were doing. With regard to the psychology, I think there's a massive difference in body language from the Europeans to from the Americans, where they were talking to each other, how they were celebrating.
We were saying that last night, yeah.
Chalk and cheese, and I think they would have been. That's what he would have been talking about. He would have been talking about that they have no weaklings, that he's going to get more lads out there.
Yeah.
I think Donald and his vice captains didn't have a worry really that they're going to have to drop anyone.
Yeah.
So I think that was like they were, and just keep the good vibes going. I think that's the way Luke would have looked at it, and obviously his planning has worked really well.
Yeah.
And I think everyone has bought into his plan,
into his message,
just as we're seeing him look like Top Gun on the tee box here. He's got the aviators on, high-fiving lads.
So for people watching, the whole point of this is to as a bit of a watch along. Obviously, we don't quite have the experience that Sky Sports commentators have, but I think we give a different aspect to it. So we'll be talking about the Fourball matches, which are the last group is just about to go out now. I think just to go back to the captains, I think if you're Luke Donald, it's probably a message to calm. Luke was never really, as a player, never madly fiery. Like even when he was world number 1, it was all like, there were fist bumps and stuff like that, but he was never like John Ram or Shane Lowry jumping around the place and going nuts. He was cool hand Luke, basically. You know, that's who he was.
Yeah. Okay. I accept that.
And he's brought that into his captaincy. You're Zach Johnson now.
I'm probably crying. I'm probably sitting or standing at the little podium in their team room.
You didn't lead out with your stars yesterday or this morning. You took the worst foursomes morning ever in US history in the Ryder Cup. you still lose the afternoon Fourball sessions.
Yeah.
What do you turn around to your team and say?
I think he must be in absolute disbelief. I genuinely, I just don't think he saw this going at all like this.
Yeah.
I don't think he saw how badly they were going to play. And he had to try and get something. He had to get something going. He had to try and motivate them in some way. He obviously had a plan. Like, we've heard before McGinley videos, or Ferguson coming into the change, like the team room, just something different.
Yeah.
Surely he had something to come out with that he had to try and get something going.
But
it didn't.
No. So obviously we listened to like a lot of golf podcasts, and the No Lane Up guys did a preview with Shane Ryan, and they took a few pops at the emotional videos that like Sam Torrance and stuff like that do for the teams.
Yeah.
And I think if this tournament has shown us anything, is that ridiculing that side of the Ryder Cup, you do that to your absolute detriment, because you can see what this means to Tyrrell Hatton, to Shane Lowry, to Nikolai Hogarth first time out, Victor Hovland. Like the emotional side of the Ryder Cup is massive, and like this is not a world beating team. This European team.
No, it's not, and I think that's a really valid point. That it's nowhere. I mean, it probably looks, it's on statistically, it's probably our strongest team we've ever had. But it's
probably
because the way it's playing. But it's not. It's not full of major winners.
No.
And like we were all worried about our lower end, massively more than the American end. So I think it's a really good point.
So I think like if from like the American media side you ridicule that aspect of it, what do you go to after day one or the night of day one and you're Zach Johnson? Like you turn around to them and go, all right guys, it's time to start playing for pride. And you're like, well, that hasn't been the messaging at all leading up to this. It's been about just do what we do, and it's it seems like what do you do, like, because the plan up to this point hasn't been working. You clearly need to change your plan.
And I think the only person that looks like that actually cares is Scheffler, and like he was crying after that humiliation.
Yeah,
there's no other way going around it that was a humiliation.
Max Homa and Brian Harman as well. They obviously won their match today, and they're the first Americans to win.
Yeah,
they look like they cared. And like you could see, Brian Harman made a big putt late in the day to even the matchup, or to just go one ahead. And you can see what I meant to him. And like those guys obviously are the only real shining light from the US side so far.
Oh, Fitz has just put it into the rough.
That's okay. I think we'll give him a bye on the first hole, considering what he did yesterday.
Yeah, like USA are like I presume people are watching this, but if they're not, like the USA are 1 up in the first 2 games out there in the Fourballs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's do or die. I think it for the USA, they have to go out guns blazing. But I think your point, like Homa and Harman, is probably a good. It has kind of worked to a certain degree, and they're staying out there together now as well. Yeah. So
let's talk about a little bit of the headlines before we get into this side of it. Sky Sports and a few other people have been reacting and talking about a fractured US team. That Patrick Cantlay questioned why the Team USA players were not being paid to feature in this Ryder Cup in Rome. Cantlay and close friend Sandra Schauffele are believed to be sitting in a separate area of the team dressing room as well. They were also the 2 big voices against Netflix being in like the change rooms and stuff like that, which I also get. But I also heard that their motivation for that was financial and not
they wanted privacy. Yeah,
else.
Like I mean,
because bear in mind, the players that probably are in the Netflix show are probably getting some bit of money. So if you're one of the 12 guys that's not, but you're being featured in this series against what you'd agreed to do, you're essentially just being kind of featured in a series without your approval and no remuneration for you. So I can see why they want to, but I also would say that the reason that they didn't want cameras in there is not because of privacy issues.
No, and if it was privacy issue, I could 100% get that.
Also, the idea of being paid for the Ryder Cup.
Oh, Hovland.
There you go. There's the chip-in. There's the chip-in problem.
It's just rolled all the way back to him.
That's in the 3rd hole here now. They're already 1 down against Sam Burns. Sam Burns got off to a good start today. So
things could be turning here.
Maybe. US is up in the first 2 games, 1 up through 2, 1 up through 1. It looks like Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth here have now tied the first hole in their group game as well.
Okay,
Look,
interesting.
I mean,
Like it's early days.
it's, we're 3 holes into this.
Yeah, I know.
a lot, and they're only one up. You know, there's so much to go,
Yeah.
so much to happen. Plus he's got like Huffman's got Aberg. You know, he's got
it's-
Aberg in his corner. He's
yeah.
okay. He's got the wonder kid next to him. MVP of the morning session. MVP.
Oh,
for
sorry.
me.
So do you buy that there's a fraction US team? Do you think that's happening? Like there was
hard-
like
it's hard
okay,
to
it's on
know.
Twitter. It's golf. I know golf Twitter is one thing, and it's been a few different places have had it.
If
Like,
it was someone
separately,
yeah, I tell you what, if it was
surely no matter who captain, you're not allowing that.
yeah, but Zach Johnson, you know, to be honest with you, he seemed kind of softly spoken. He doesn't seem confrontational.
So you think it's
And so
a player run for the team?
Yeah, probably.
And not in a good way.
At this point, it probably is. The fact that it's Patrick Handley and Xander Schauffele who are, you know, dissenting, we'll call it, doesn't really bother me. I think they're two guys who, from a charisma perspective, you can take or leave. After this performance,
Yeah, fair.
from a golfing perspective, you could probably have an argument about taking or leaving them as well.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Do I think that there's dissent in the ranks to the extent where you remember after Tom Watson was captaining and Phil Mickelson came out?
Phil destroyed him.
Do I think things will be that bad? I mean, maybe this is a worse result for them so far. But like,
and
I think if things are really,
if they kind of air things out in the open, where I think Europeans, as you kind of you made, or was it you or Mark made the point yesterday about Aberg will probably be told that's not how we do, or not Aberg, Maronk, that's not how we do things, and so
absolutely.
I think, like, listen, there has to be some argument in that team room at some point, because someone has to stand up and go, this isn't good enough. Yeah, like we're not playing well enough. You're not doing enough. This isn't working. Like we need to change things up so that they're. I think in any good team, at some point, your leaders stand up and you have a little bit of an argy-bargy, or you have get things out in the open.
Yeah.
But maybe it didn't, and it did at lunch. I don't know. Obviously, we're speculating here, but some like they can't just begin
from Ireland as well.
Yeah,
like,
but they can't just sit there and go, "Oh, lads, we're losing." Okay, what's the next one?
Yeah,
there has to be some sort of passion.
You talk about passion. I mean, we just saw a banner there in the Sky Sports highlights package of the big Sevi banner. Like, there needs to be a bit of pride in what you're talking about, what you're playing for here this weekend. Like, it just really seems like there's a lack of self-respect from a lot of these US players. They just like, they're here to play. They don't care. Like, everyone's now taking pop shots at Zach Johnson and the US team, saying that it's a disgrace that 9 of the 12 players haven't played golf in 5 weeks because just the way the tour season is finished. Some people, you know, that's an easy argument to make now.
Yeah, because if they're rested and they're playing well, he's a genius. They rested. Like it's obviously results business and stuff, but that's what's going to happen. With it, like I think there's a lot of people having cuts at Zach with his pairings, with his prep. I know on their trip, kind of what do they call it, where they go early.
Oh, like the recce, like
it was Canley's stag or something, was it? So.
So
someone went there.
Yeah, Xander didn't even go.
Like. So, and obviously, Spieth was having a kid, so you're not going to tell him to leave his kids going to recce. Yeah. But like, again, it's his job to make sure he kind of organizes it around a good time that those stuff don't happen. You know, and surely they could have gone earlier or later, missed a couple of days or whatever. You know,
I mean, it's not a case of like Luke Donald turned around and said, "You have this 1 week or weekend to do your location scout." There's no way that way it works.
No, he obviously said, "This is the week we're looking at. What's going on?" Yeah. Okay, Rory had that stag. I think then he ended up in France with Larry.
He went to the rugby instead.
As well, so I don't know, but like,
did he go on that stag? Probably flew private jet to join the stag afterwards. Yeah. I think that brings on a good question of captaincy. I'm a big proponent for what I'm going to say now. I think captains should be getting 2 runs. They should be getting a home and an away leg. I think that works for a couple of reasons. The way the Ryder Cup's been working, you got a good chance of having a win. If you're the home captain, chances are you'll get a good win. So it doesn't completely ruin your career. Look at Darren Clark. He captained once and had a really bad kind of, bad taste in his mouth afterwards. Yeah. Then on the flip side, look at Paul McGinley, look at Thomas Bjorn, look at Colin Montgomery. 3 winning captains, all of them in Europe. And Paul McGinley will openly say, winning the Ryder Cup was the greatest thing for his career professionally. The amount of money and endorsement deals, the Sky Sports deal that he has.
Yeah, exactly. It was his biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, big time. So I would be a big proponent for having Luke Donald back in Bethpage in the States in 2 years' time.
Like I see where you're coming from. My only issue is like, do they want to do 4 years of captaincy?
Yeah, but they're like, these are guys that aren't like, Luke Donald isn't vying for the Tour Championship. He's not top 20, top 30 in the world. He's getting through on like his world ranking points, his career money is earned.
Yeah.
That's how he's kind of keeping his card at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be very different if he was contending in the majors and that level of golf. He's playing that level of golf.
Yeah.
But he's in the latter half of his career. He's in his 40s.
But does he want to be then watching every tournament that goes on? Does he want to be, if you're doing it properly, there's a lot of details to go with.
Only for the home ones, though. I mean,
but
like, obviously you got to keep an eye on players for the away ones as well. But like, he plays a lot in the States as well anyway. So
I think it's a lot of pressure to be the captain and to have it for 4 years. I think it could be just too much and it could be exhausting. And by the time the second one comes, you're like just absolutely just mentally, physically tired as well.
Yeah, I think there's also the argument or the point that we don't have that many options for captains at the moment.
That's the second thing I think with the live lads. Like, theoretically there should be there should be Stenson, Westwood, Poulter, Sergio. Like there's four.
Yeah, there's four there.
There's 8 years of captains. GMAC, there's 5 years of captains. So
that's 10 years of captains, because every 2 years. Yeah,
exactly. So there's next 5 Ryder Cups.
So what do you do for those years? Like, you're not going to turn around to, I mean, like, so you are going to turn around to Eduardo, to Frankie, to Nicholas Colsaerts, those guys who are all part of this team, and go, all right, guys, we need you guys to step up here now. And they're like, well, like Nicholas Colsaerts would be like, my career was good, all right as a Ryder Cup player. Eduardo, a grand career. Like, they don't evoke.
I can't see
as much.
I am so excited
for Frankie. Yeah, of course.
I am so excited for this. Like, I just can't see him motivating lads.
It's no, and it does not sound the same as.
I think he probably wants to play as well. I think he still has notions that he could make that the Ryder Cup team
for sure. But it just doesn't feel the same as like if you're playing for Luke Donald, former world number one, great Ryder Cup career player.
It's also interesting. Poulter wished them well on Twitter. He did a post.
He did, yeah, he did.
Nothing from Sergio, nothing from Westwood.
But
obviously nothing from Stenson.
Yeah, but I mean,
is Poulter gonna?
No, I think Poulter gets that the Ryder Cup's bigger than any tour. I would say in Sergio's defense, and we'll say very few things in Sergio's defense, he did sit down with John Ram, as did Pulse, and talked about like what it was like to be a leadership role. And you can see how the impact that's had now on John Ram is he's absolutely been a leader in the squad.
I would love to see Poulter as captain just for the volatility and the absolute chaos he'd bring in, because he has the little bit of needle, the little bit of edge. Yeah. I think
he would have been great in Bethpage. He'd be
amazing. A perfect captain to go to America.
He would have been the guy
and just
go to New
York,
piss
people off.
European captain going to New York, like against that crowds where like some people would love him, but a lot of people would hate him that week.
Yeah, but it would be entertaining. Like, let him be the villain.
It'd be amazing.
Like, I think he's a guy you like. If you're a USA or you're an American, you'd love to be hating him
for sure.
And every time he comes on to talk.
Okay, another clutch puts there from Sam Burns. They got to be 2 up now through.
Okay, a little bit of high fives as well. There's a little bit more.
Again, these boys didn't play this morning. Morikawa, Burns didn't play this morning. They don't have that scar tissue at the moment. They're just hurt and embarrassed by their teammates.
Harmon tied a hole.
Okay, they're still 1 up through 2. That's fine. That's okay. We can hold all this. Rory. So the ball, he's standing in the bunker on the first hole.
His arm's pretty much stretched out, isn't it?
He's got like a baseball swing as the ball's sitting in the rough.
Oh,
Jesus,
hit it hard. Oh,
right into a tree. Okay, so you gotta think USA is going to go 1 up through 1 here in this match. That's okay though. Patrick Cantley here now with his approach. Middle of the fairway, good shot.
There seems.
Do you know what's really hard is usually Sky Sports have the yardages, so you can kind of talk about that easier. We don't have that now. Yeah.
I think there's a different edge to the America in this afternoon. I know we're watching on TV and we have it on mute, but There's a little bit more swagger, a little bit more cockiness.
I don't know if it's cockiness or they're just embarrassed and angry.
Exactly.
But
Possibly.
either way, there's something.
Either way, there's. I'm looking at them going, okay, they mean something to you. Now we've got business. There's a little bit more. A little bit more.
To go back to let's go watch this shot from Colin Morikawa.
He's on the fourth.
He is unbelievable with his irons. Okay, that came up a little bit short, but but Poulter as a potential captain for we are not going to get to this talking point at all. That is
Rory's stuck behind the tree. He could break his club snapping around that.
He could hurt himself. What a shot! Get that back into. That was an unbelievable shot. That was a great
recovery.
Shot.
Unbelievable.
That was really good.
He's butchered that first hole, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's fine. Look, again, Rory. You do have a little bit of cushion. It's 4 balls. It's not singles. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
I think with Poulter being a captain in New York,
I think I loved it.
I think he would be brilliant because he'd almost be able to take the pressure off the players.
Do a Mourinho.
Like, I'm going to be the sideshow. I'm going to make all the noise. I'm going to say all this ridiculous stuff. Yeah. You 12 lads go play golf.
Yeah.
And it'll be brilliant.
Yeah. And I
great shot there from Victor Hovland, by the way, on the par 3 4th hole. Stitched it to a couple of feet. This is where the comeback begins. The comeback. This is where the comeback in this one match where we're 2 down.
Leaking left.
Aberg's left.
Also, like.
Okay, it is left. But,
yeah.
But look,
I think the
advantage to Victor Hovland there. Like, I'm telling you, MVP of the morning.
Yeah.
So you were saying about Poulter.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of like a Mourinho at Chelsea, and I think you'd end up like, because he's so passionate, you would end up wanting to play for him if you're European because you can feel his passion and stuff, and it would be something different. I like he's definitely different to Luke. He's different to also, so he's different to them, which I think would be a nice fit. So we don't know what the future is going to hold, how it's all going to work out, but I think it would be. I think it would just be box office.
I think the likelihood of the Live guys getting into the Ryder Cup after this week, has gone down.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Because look, Brooks is in there. He's played dog shit, to be honest with you, so far. Excuse me. But from a European perspective, there are more Live losses. Like, you could make the argument that. Okay, good. I saw we just had a potential guest there, former podcast host David Cannellan. He's doing something for Sky Italy, but we do have a guest getting queued up now in a minute, which is going to make us look way more official than we actually are. He's in the media center at the moment. I'll get him to give us a thumbs up once he's ready. But I think from a Live perspective, Sergio would have fancied himself to make this team. I'm sure he would have. I'm sure Westwood would, and GMAC would make the argument that they could have been playing good enough to make the squad.
Yeah, I don't think either of them would have been anywhere near. But Sergio possibly. Yeah.
I personally don't think any of those 3 guys would have made that squad anyway. But if Europe got done over here now and played very poorly, you could see you could see cries for let's bring the Live guys in. We'll have an argument about this and have a conversation of Live players being able to make it. The US setup's very different because obviously if you just play in the majors, you can earn your way into the PGA rankings. Whereas to play on Team Europe, you got to be a member of the DP World Tour.
Yeah.
So Bryson could have qualified in if he just played better.
But the
same way Brooks did.
But the same way now, you're looking at this American team like Bryson, DJ, has Liv killed them worse than it's killed us? Because we're forced to play the young guys, which it's actually benefiting us.
Yeah.
I don't think this whole course would have suited Westwood, Poulter, Sergio. I think it's working that with the young guys out. So it's forced us to pick a different team, but it's actually worked. Has it kind of screwed the Americans a bit?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to ask. We're going to throw to our first guest, Mr. Stephen Watson. How are you?
Yes, good to join your podcast. Sorry about the quality of the camera. Couldn't get logged on the laptop. Couldn't get logged on the other phone, so I had to use this old phone to get logged on. But hey, I'm here. Good to join your stream and hear the first thing you're talking about is Live.
That's very true. I guess the way that came about was we were talking about. I started out with captains, actually, to be honest with you. So we were talking about whether Luke Donald should do 2 years to do a home and away leg. What do you think? Do you think there's an argument for a home and away leg as a captaincy?
I'm not sure. I would prefer the merger to happen and get Graham McDowell back as captain for Adair Manor in 2027, personally. Whether that's ever going to happen, I'm honestly not sure. A lot of these guys have important Ryder Cup IP, the likes of Westwood, Poulter, Garcia. But, typically, from our point of view, from a Northern Ireland point of view, Graham McDowell has such a great record in the Ryder Cup. He's won 3 Ryder Cups, 1 as a player, 2 as a vice captain. I think he's won something like 9 points out of 15. And yes, this has all been very unfortunate. There's only 1 live player playing on the American team this year. But if the merger is going to happen and they're going to let these guys back in to the infrastructure in some shape or form, or into the ecosystem in some shape or form, as they keep saying, why couldn't one of these players return as a captain in future? I think it's a long shot, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of bad blood there still. But yeah, I mean, in this case, I suppose you can say who could be the captain the next time for Europe, and Luke Donald at the moment is doing a tremendous job. It's obviously not over yet. It's not won yet. They've got a great advantage, but it's a long way from being over. So yeah, I mean, he could, and I certainly wouldn't disagree with anyone who wanted to say that he could be the captain in 2 years' time as well.
So you are on site. Talk to us. What, from yesterday's perspective, what was the mood like yesterday? Record day from the Europeans' perspective. How was it?
It just couldn't have gone any better. I mean, America not winning a single game, winning their first game this morning. They've won the first 3 sessions. Things couldn't have gone better. And as you can imagine, the atmosphere in here is absolutely unbelievable. From when the gates open.
Incredible.
Listen, I asked Shane Lowry yesterday, Portrush 2019, when you won the Open, was loud. Was this louder? He said, listen, way, way louder. Way louder. They've added touches here, playing a lot of loud music on the first tee, getting people whipped up before it starts. They're taking their seats in the dark. And then you see the sun coming up just, in the distance. It lights up, and it's a tremendous atmosphere. They walk into, I'm sure you've seen it, on the first tee, they've kind of got it dressed like the Roman Colosseum.
The Golf-Colosseum is what I've been calling it.
The Golf-Colosseum, yeah. And the players kind of walk in, to this amazing amphitheater with, 5,000-7,000 people around. The first fairway is just absolutely lined. So this place has been built for stadium golf. There's no doubt about that. It's an unbelievable atmosphere for the players to play in. And obviously, leaving last night, there was a full party taking place in the Tented Village. Tom Grennan was belting out the tunes. They had a DJ on with all the old 80s and 90s classics. and the place was jumping last night. But the players, even today, and we spoke to Rory McIlroy a short time ago, even after his win today, they're still playing it down. I asked him, would you like to go out this afternoon, have another session like this morning? You could get this thing done early. I said, look, there's only 8 points on offer today. There's another 12 on offer tomorrow. There's still 16 points on offer in this game. And yes, there's 7 points between the teams. But if America go out this afternoon and they're up in 2 games at the moment and tied in the other 2, and suddenly won this 4-0 or even 3-1, they have a sniff of a chance of a comeback if you suddenly come out of the traps and win 3 or 4 games in the morning. We've seen it so many times before, Medina being a great example.
So you have been able to talk to a few players. What's the mood like between the 2 teams? Obviously, Europe must be delighted. They are playing it down a little bit, but are America as kind of grumpy and angry as they kind of seem on TV?
Yeah, their body language hasn't looked great at times. Yeah, I've seen some photographs and I've seen some footage. So Patrick Cantlay going out this morning, he didn't look particularly happy. There are reports emerging here, whether they're true or whether they're not, that there is a bit of turmoil in the American team. The captain last night obviously cited there was some illness and some sickness in the camp. But today,
that's why Fowler's not playing apparently.
Yeah, and obviously rumours today that there's a bit of an upset within the actual team itself, that perhaps Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay are in another part of the team room, because, as it's being reported, because of problems over pay. They say that that's why he's not wearing his cap this week, because he's not being paid to wear his cap. He didn't go to the gala dinner the other night. He didn't come on the American trip here, practice trip here. So look, who knows? You know yourself, when a team's not going well, suddenly it starts to get picked apart. But look, this match is a long way from being over.
How much are you getting to go out on the golf course? And this morning, who did you get to follow?
Yeah, getting out a good bit. We're obviously tied in with our broadcast for BBC, so we have to be back and forward to the media centre quite a lot for our live inserts and our other commitments, post-round interviews and things. But I got out this morning to see a bit of McIlroy. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, the place was just jumping, and the match was incredible. It toed and fro. The standard of the golf was great. Fleetwood was fantastic in the morning, and then Rory chipped in with 2 big bombs in the afternoon to clinch it, which was great. I saw a little bit of Shane Lowry. I know he'll probably be disappointed that he lost his match today, but honestly, he came up against 2 fantastic players who I think went birdie, eagle, birdie, something like that on the back 9. So that was a train that was going to be hard to stop. But he looks like, apart from the golf, he doesn't just look like, I know he's absolutely having a brilliant time. You probably saw some of the footage.
He does look like he's having a great time.
Oh,
like watching him, you're going, Rory is loving every bit of this.
He both of them are. Rory and Shane are enjoying it. And it was interesting speaking to Rory earlier after he finished today. I said, look, that's 3 out of 3. And he said, yeah, but I'd like to go 5 out of 5. I've been waiting a long time for redemption.
I love that.
Yeah. He's been waiting a long time, 2 years, for a little bit of redemption and a point to prove. And, he beat Xander Schauffele on the last Sunday in Whistling Straits. He beat him here on the morning of day 1 in the afternoon of day 2, and that will have been particularly satisfying, taking someone like him down 3 times in a row. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But look, if he could go 5 out of 5, incredible. On a personal level, I'd be delighted because I've got him back as the top point scorer, but that's a completely side issue. But yeah, look, he's fired up for it, and if he can go out this afternoon with Fitzpatrick and win another game in the style that they did yesterday, there's no reason why he can't be.
So 3 of the leaders, I think they're quite young to be leaders. Like John Ram obviously is 28, Victor Hovland's younger again, and Rory have all gone 3 for 3, as you mentioned. From a not just a playing perspective, but just like a leadership side, you've obviously been on site. Who's really stood up as, I've been calling it, the MVP of each session each day? Who's been a real MVP from a squad perspective?
I think the 3, Hovland, Ram, and McIlroy, are the top 3 players in the world rankings on this team, and they're showing exactly why. You can see John Ram, putting an arm around one of the rookies and looking after him, and in the way he plays. Even listening to Tommy Fleetwood yesterday and again today asking about playing with Rory, he said, look, it's a dream come true for anybody to play with Rory, so why would I be any different? And I think, when you play with Rory McIlroy or John Ram, I think their partners automatically try and lift their game, to be honest with you, because they are no doubt the leaders in the team room. Rory McIlroy in particular, you can see that he's got that leadership style status. No doubt about it. But Hovland with his play has been wonderful as well. He's lighting the crowds up in tremendous fashion.
That's something that Rory kind of struggled with as like a leadership role. Obviously, he played with Thomas Pieters a few Ryder Cups ago, did very well. When he played with the rookies in Whistling Straits, he didn't quite perform. Has there something changed from Rory's side that obviously he's playing with Tommy Fleetwood, so not so much of a rookie? Matt Fitzpatrick, this is now his 3rd Ryder Cup as well. But Rory seems to almost be a bit more mature, or even just self-confident when it comes to this Ryder Cup.
Possibly, he knows he didn't play as well as he wanted to the last time. But since that Sunday in Whistling Straits, he has mentioned a couple of times this week that was the catalyst for him to get his game back on track over the last couple of years. So he doesn't come here thinking that he's got a point to prove about his game, but he wants to make amends for what happened the last time, and he wants to be able to, contribute as best he possibly can to this European team. I think also it was notable yesterday that Matt Fitzpatrick had actually never played a Fourball session at the Ryder Cup.
That's crazy.
Before, which I
find that insane.
Yeah, which I find very, very hard to believe. I mean, he just was unreal, the golf that he played yesterday. I mean, the standard of golf has been so high People ask me at home who just watch golf on the big events are on, why are there such amazing shots of the Ryder Cup? And you try and explain, look, it's because they just go for a lot more here. And it's the way the style of play is, because they've got a partner in the game. But the foursomes
as well. You're not protecting a score. You totally. if you play it out the back, so be it. But like, there's no point laying up.
No, so I mean the standard of golf has been so high, and McIlroy has been played really well, but he's also leaned heavily on his partners as well, which he is very quick to mention. He's mentioned Fleetwood was superb again today, as he was yesterday, and obviously Fitzpatrick. That was a pleasure to watch as McIlroy applauded along.
Rory actually looked like a fan watching Fitzer drain birdies, and he was like, "You fire away, kid. I'll stand here with Billy. We'll have the chance." And he was and even today he gave a real fist bump and a real let's go. I think that's a big difference in Rory this year.
Time around,
Yeah, I like that after he watched Fitzpatrick and applauded his fifth birdie going in a row, his sixth single putt in a row. The next hole then Rory bombs one in as well. And he said, "Look, I had to do something. I had to play my part in some way." But look, it's all going the right way for Europe. But you always have to be cautious that this afternoon session is still so important, and the team know that themselves. If they can get a half match in this session this afternoon, they're in fantastic shape to take the Ryder Cup home early tomorrow. But if it goes fully America's way and they can win it 4-0, it's game back on again.
And is the media center being as objective as they can be, or are there cheers when you're make a point and boos when the US does something well?
There's no boos, but yes, there's plenty of cheers. Of course there are. I mean, the journalists get as bad as the fans. You know that. We all want to see a European victory. We're always very supportive of our home players, Rory and Shane. We want to see them do very well. I know Shane will be disappointed that he didn't win his match this morning. We all felt that disappointment, for him as well, having seen just how enjoyable it was for him yesterday.
So who are you going to go out to watch now, or would you be able to get out in course for a bit?
I'll probably be able to nip out and watch a little bit of Rory McIlroy, but we've got quite a lot of working commitments this afternoon, radio and TV, so I'll probably have to be stuck in the media centre for a while as well, watching it on TV.
Is Aberg as good as people are saying? We had a guest on the show yesterday, a friend of the podcast, Mark Bean, and he was saying, he's a scratch golfer. He was saying that the sound or just the move from Aberg was different to what you see from regular tour professional. Is he
unreal?
He's
unreal. Honestly, he is unreal. I actually stood on the range for 10 or 15 minutes the other morning and just watched and admired his golf swing, and then thought I've got to take some videos of this swing as well. Look, when we were speaking to Rory about him, and if Rory McIlroy says that Aberg's swing is one of his favourite swings on tour and he loves watching it, then why wouldn't we like watching it? He's just it's so composed, so compact and effortless. And he was very honest and said he was so nervous walking onto the first tee yesterday. He had jelly in his legs many times during his opening match. But today, honestly, him and Hovland were a sensational duo this morning. Beating the world number one and a player on the American team with 5 major championships, beating Scheffler and Koepka was just ridiculous. Now, to be fair, they did not play well at all. I think they were 6 up going through the 9th or 10th, something like that, or 6 over going through the 9th or the 10th. But still, to get a win like that on your Ryder Cup debut, and you only turn pro in June, is pretty incredible stuff.
Listen, Stephen, thank you very much. We'll leave it at that. You're a busy man. You've got lots of TV and radio to be doing. But before we do, we've been watching the coverage, and we've been looking at all the different outfits now. Talk to us about the gear. Who's winning when it comes to the battle of the wardrobe?
Neither, to be honest.
The burnt orange, I really don't like.
Look, I got to be honest. The outfits at the Ryder Cup are never very good. Now, they were wearing lovely gilets, the European team, the other morning, and they looked superb. They looked slick. They looked really nice. And then they took them off to reveal these T-shirts with, burnt orange or brown on them. It's not a great look, to be honest. But
no, it's not really not.
But hey, they're handed out free. I'm sure you boys will take some.
We
100%.
absolutely will. Listen, Stephen, thank you so much. Pleasure as always, and
No
enjoy the
problem.
rest of the weekend.
Yeah, sorry about the fuzzy camera.
Don't worry about it. But this is live. We just we roll with the punches.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. See you soon.
Cheers. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Pleasure to have Stephen on. He's just such a gent as well. I still don't think he's quite forgiven you for beating him in Galgorm, though.
No, probably not. No. But man, that was cool to hear about Rory.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's great,
It's
and you would
nice.
like. He's actually had a chat with him and said he feels this, he thinks this. I love that. He's just not happy. He's nothing about we're fighting, we're still fighting, we're still fighting.
I just wish that we were there, to be honest with you. That like talking to Mark yesterday, talking to Stephen there.
So jealous of Mark.
Like I really wish that we were there.
When he sent me some videos this morning, so I put it up on our story, and I was like, oh, I just wish I was there on that first tee, singing Europe's on fire.
Brian Harmon goes wiggle wiggle every shot.
Yeah, a wiggle. Man, they're up in 2 games and they're tied. They're
Yeah, okay.
Harmon and Homa seem to be doing bits.
They do indeed. So they just won the par 3 fourth. Max Homa made a great birdie putt. Like he had no business making that putt to go 2 up there. Nikolai Hogard was in tight. He missed that one, which is disappointing. But look, we've got we're 1 down in the first match, 2 down in the second match. Okay, we might be 2 down in the first match, 2 down in the second match, but we're tied in the other 2. I actually am surprised that we're tied in the last game with Rory out. Obviously, Fitzy stepped up there and half the match for him. Yeah. That's the great thing about those Fourballs, and actually these pairings as well, is these guys are able to trust each other. Oh my goodness!
It's going back.
Justin Rose did the exact same thing Hovland did.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 guys that have been short-sighted and have. Oh, it's a worse lie as well. It's up against the collar. Oh my god!
Literally on the fringe.
Okay. This is where Bob McIntyre needs to step up. This is where the rookie needs to go. Okay, I got you, partner.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam Burns makes another putt there. They are 2 up.
He's played well. I don't even know it's only been 5 holes, but Burns has played well.
He played terribly yesterday.
He did.
It has to be said. I think that's kind of what they're all playing for now, is a bit of self-pride, a bit of self-respect. Sam Burns didn't play well yesterday, but now look. He's 2 up. Colin Morikawa, he was silent. He didn't have a big moment at all yesterday. No. Morikawa for me.
No.
So he's obviously right. Like he's playing near with now Sam Burns. But then again, Max Homa and Brian Harmon, they're 2 up through 4.
Here's your big Bob moment.
There we go. Bit Bob to win.
He's left it short, hasn't he?
He has. Right. Well, look. They tie the hole. That's okay. You got to think if you're Justin Rose, you're like, okay, it's fine. Tied the hole. That's all good. We'll be okay.
Yeah, I think Rose will just take Bob and they'll chat now the whole way around.
Yeah, that's just class. That's a simple case of just all right. We'll park that now.
On to the next
one.
Yeah. Didn't draw, no blood lost.
That's it. Let's have a quick look there. See if we have any questions. If we have any questions from viewers. And
in the live chat.
So yeah, if you do have any questions for us, who you think, like from a prediction side, who you think is going to go well, who you think is going to win, who's going to be top point scorer from US and UK side, US and European side.
I did see something on Twitter that I'd like your opinion on.
Okay.
So another we said we don't like the President's Cup.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted that the winner of the Ryder Cup should play the President's Cup. So if Europe win the Ryder Cup next year, they play against the rest of the world in President's Cup.
I get that, but then it kind of just makes it seem like the President's Cup is bigger than the Ryder Cup. Like only the winner gets to play against the rest of the world.
But it's better than us not playing at all, isn't it?
Yeah, I get that. I liked the Hero Cup that we did this year in January. That's not happening again now. I think that should be an alternate year event.
Yeah,
same as way the President's Cup is, just for keeping blood in new players. I think doing that in the Ryder Cup year, yeah, it's fine, it's good, but like if you can do it twice, you can do it in the odd year and in the Ryder Cup year, and you can blood like Richard Mansell, Ewan Ferguson, Connor Syme, those guys all played in the Hero Cup. Adrian Morong played very well in the Hero Cup. Shane Larry played in that. Like, it's a good way of just kind of building relationships and dynamics between players and guys who are kind of on the fringes.
Yeah.
And then also it becomes less of a concern, I think, when Justin Rose does really step away and there's a spot and you go, who fills that vacuum? We don't know what they're like as a match play player. We don't know how they get on with that person or this person.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Having a Hero Cup, because then it's different. It's our version of the President's Cup, or it's our answer to it on obviously a smaller scale, on a different scale.
Yeah.
But Shane Larry has spoken very openly about the fact he doesn't like the fact that the US get to play President's Cup.
Yeah,
because it's a warm up. Like it's just a warm up for
it's complete prep
for the main event.
Massively.
But look, I think DP World Tour maybe missed a trick with that one, but
yeah,
I'm not the tour commissioner, so that's not my job.
Yeah, they could build it up and make it a very big spectacle.
Let's talk through these 4-ball pairings then. Victor Hovland and Ludwig Aberg against Sam Burns, Colin Markow. Obviously, they're 2 down through 5, maybe 2 down through 6 at this point. Tommy Fleetwood, Nikolai Hogard. What do you think? What do we make of that team? Obviously, John Rahm and Hogard went out last time. John isn't playing this session at all because he was the last team in. I say he's also kind of just knackered because that went all the way down 17. Like it went down.
Yeah,
pretty much the full way.
I think you need to rest him. I think it's because you end up him being too tired, and then it could affect tomorrow.
But so we just see there that
but he'll go out early tomorrow.
We just saw that the Rose McIntyre team did tie the third hole with Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. There was a misput there by JT, which is always nice. Oh, what a shot. Max Homa on the drivable par 4, 5th hole.
And it's trickling back.
Oh my goodness.
Homa's here to play.
Yeah, and look, that's great. He's been a shining light for the US team.
He has.
The last 2 days, to be fair.
He's actually played well.
He was a bit nippy or snippy in his post-round interview with Sky Sports.
Was he?
He's just like, I came here to win. We had a job to do. I came here to make a point. No one had earned a point so far, so I felt like, right, no better person to do it than us. And I mean, you're going to be snippy if you're down 7 points after being down 5 this morning. You're going to be pissed, and you're going to be like, yeah, someone needed to put a point on the board, and I put the point on the board. But that also kind of seems a little bit like individualism, which the US team kind of has always had that problem with.
Yeah, and Højgaard and Fleetwood are not playing well.
That's my concern with that group is like Fleetwood and Rory did very, very well. But then who do you put Højgaard with?
That's the other thing. Yeah, who do you put him with? You don't want to break up Rose and McIntyre. You're
not going near Hovland and Aberg. You're just like, look, you lads doing
and
your
Fitz
thing.
And McIlroy, you're not going to break those up either. So you're gonna.
It's a funny one. It's a funny one.
Is that JT? Oh, it's hit.
Wow, that's gotta hurt.
It's hit a spectator. He's pushed it left of the green.
And that's what we were talking about last night with Rory and Tommy playing against Jordan and JT is it's foursomes, so they can put each other in an awful position. At least in 4-ball like this, Jordan's just gonna be like, all right, it's par 3, I'll just hit the green.
Yeah.
He's basically out of the hole, it's all on me. But in foursomes, as we saw, like you can put yourself into some horrendous positions. Like Brooks and Scheffler did that to each other in a really bad way.
I think if you watched that back, just their game, if you got the whole thing, I think you would be absolutely horrified at how they both of them played.
Yeah. Oh look.
Like I think if you watched every shot, you would
6 over through 10 holes. 6 over through 10
for
holes.
the world number 1 and the best
5-time major winner.
The big major winner of our generation.
Yeah. We were talking about this before we went live. The fact that Justin Rose and Robert McIntyre are getting to play again, I think is only down to the fact that we're 7 points ahead. Bob, his form has obviously not been fantastic. Rosie, he's not got the young legs he used to have. But the fact that we're 7 points ahead, I think is a great confidence play that Luke Donald was able to turn around. And maybe these picks were made ages ago and whatever.
Yeah,
I'm looking too much into it.
He's probably speaks, if we're like this, we can do this.
Yeah.
If we're like that, then we'll.
I think this is great from a long-term Ryder Cup play for Bob. for Luke to be able to turn around and go, we're up, go enjoy it, have fun. Listen, if you have the match, or look, even if you lose it, it's okay. We got a little bit of cushion there. Now, I don't think he said that, but I think
That's what he said to his vice captains.
That's
yeah.
probably what he was
but
saying
he was
to his team.
And Bob Rose, go do what you did yesterday and go win us
Have fun, enjoy it, and
go ball out,
and just play free. And I think that's a great position to be in for the next few Ryder Cups, to be able to go, like, if Bob McIntyre halves this match, you know, his confidence is going to be sky high going into tomorrow, because I don't realistically think he thought he was going to play 3 times this week.
No,
he's not been playing well enough leading into this.
I reckon he would have turned around, and if we had him on the pod and we said, would you be happy playing twice, he would have gone, yeah,
absolutely. Sam Burns. Jesus. Okay, great shot. That could be 3 up through 6.
Maybe it's because he's away from Scheffler. Maybe Scheffler was just...
They're really good mates, but they just play terribly together. That could be it. That could be it.
Also,
the mullet is...
Do you think Scheffler has stayed on site, or is he gone?
I think
he's in the team room, or do you think he's just gone hotel and needs to get out of there? Because he looked in a bad way.
I would hope as a team, Nikolai Højgaard, great shot, great second shot. He driven it over the back of the green on the drivable par 4. Lovely chips, about 2 feet, 2.5 feet. I think as a team, I would want Sky Scheffler there. I think if they're talking about this being a new generation where they're all really good mates and they're all are actually playing for each other, we're not seeing that at the moment. But we saw that with Ricky Fowler yesterday when he wasn't playing the afternoon sessions. He was out on course. Like, the cameras.
That's Ricky Fowler.
But you need that. I think in a team event, you need that. Even if you're upset, like, think of it from like a hockey coach's perspective. If you're on a hockey trip, like an international trip, and you got a team of 30 or a team of 20.
Oh, right? We might have 2 in the stands. You pick out of 20 of 18. You want the lads there.
You want them there. You want them there cheering. You want them on.
But again, they've been in a team. Oh, what a shot!
Who was that? Oh, Brian Harman. Damn it! Great shot.
And out comes the fridge.
Fridge.
But he was dropped. Like, he wasn't rested. Scheffler was dropped.
Yeah.
Like, there's no two ways about it. You were poor, Brooks. You were poor. You're not playing.
Yeah.
And I reckon they had to move. And I think I remember saying that, like, it was a Justin Rose interview years ago, that we think that, you know, you wait till all the games are finished and then you pick it who's going out in the afternoon. You kind of have to pick your afternoon stuff while the games are going on.
It seems...
Do you know what I mean? Like, so because it's too much quick of a turnaround.
So
they made that call early
this year around than it was for previous Ryder Cups. It seems like the break between sessions was lots smaller.
Yeah.
That could just be me.
Yeah. So, like, I think they made that call early, maybe 3-4 holes in. They're not playing later.
Oof, that's very early to be making that call.
But they couldn't have left it any longer, could they?
3 or 4 holes in. Of course they could have.
Man, they were so bad. I wouldn't like. But then the point is, like, what is Scheffler going to be like tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you were saying last night that maybe Brooks would be the best thing for Scheffler from like a let's go out there and let's be killers perspective. Maybe he's not aggressive in that sense. And maybe that was the worst thing for him.
Brooks doesn't care.
But I think if you're Scotty, I think
Scotty cares, and I just think obviously, like, it didn't work for whatever reason, and I was definitely wrong on that. But it didn't look. It looked like Brooks didn't care. Like, especially was it the 12th that they finished up on?
It was not. It was 9-7, wasn't it? So yeah, it was 12.
Like, Scheffler hit that chip, and it looked like Brooks was going, "Oh, am I even going to bother going down there and try and hold it?"
It was on 11. Sorry,
11. So, like, from the back of the green, Scheffler chipped across, and then you could see Brooks's face was like, "Am I just going to bother going down the hill and trying this, or like just go, yeah, we're done."
Just for context on how bad they played, the first 3 holes they did go double, bogey, double. So you're 5 over through 3. Like, that's that is shit.
Zach Johnson threw against the wall in the team room and said, "Those lads are not going."
Yeah, threw a boot at Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
he's crying.
Exactly, he's crying.
He's gone full Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, kicked the boot at him.
Yeah,
I'd love now to see who gets Scheffler tomorrow.
No one, because it's singles.
Yes, on point. But who,
Oh,
like, as in, who plays
who's
him?
playing against
Who's
them?
playing against him?
I don't know. Do you hide him in the back?
He has to go out for early.
Oh, okay,
Put
Rory.
Hatton out with him. Hatton
So
can just...
Rory just missed a birdie opportunity there. I think that hole might be halved on the third. Here we go, USA with a putt on the same hole. So Morikawa. Okay, good, very good. That's on the first hole. So Morikawa, Sam Burns, he just missed that putt.
The
to go.
Americans are looking good.
Some of them are.
They're not as wayward as...
But again, we're saying the Americans look good. Also, we're only really being shown a lot of Sam Burns and Brian Harmon, like those two groups.
Yeah.
Morikawa. They also happen to be the two groups that are up. So Sam Burns with what 3 feet? Yeah, 3 feet. 3 feet to go 3 up through 6. This is not a great start.
Oh, he loves it. Sam Burns giving
it all this.
You can't hear. He's giving the whole thing. You can't hear you.
We can't hear you either. You're on mute.
I kind of.
I think it's also brave to be doing that. You're only 6 holes in. You're only 3 up, and you're 7 points down in the match. I think that's brave. I think you're also Sam Burns. You're a rookie. Like that's.
Also,
let's be careful now, Sam Burns. Let's be careful.
Koepka was booed on the first tee.
That's harsh.
I think that was harsh.
I think that's harsh
because he hasn't come out and had a go at any tour or any person at all. I thought that was, I didn't like that. So maybe he was being booed. Maybe Sam Burns was being heckled there, and that's his response to some bloke.
Yeah, probably. But I think that's harsh on Brooks Koepka because, like I said, like he hasn't been a part of any of the lawsuits or anything like that.
He's no Patrick Reed.
He's not been having a go at anyone. So look, what can you do? Is there any team in this session that you're particularly worried about? For me it's Fleetwood and Howard. Just I think they could go down big early. I understand obviously Hovland and Aberg are now 3 down through 6, but
Aberg can go 5-6 birdies in a row.
That's the thing,
he's done it before. So, and Hovland
duffed a chip in front of him. Like that was your gifting one there. Like those guys have the ability to come play back, freely, and they could almost be like, right, we're 3 down now. Instead of trying to force the issue, they'd be like, let's just give it a go.
Yeah,
we'll just go. Yeah,
the Fleetwood Højgaard one worries me.
Yeah,
and then Rose Bob.
Yeah, if they were coming up against informed JT and Jordan, I would agree with you. But like JT just milled a spectator on a par 3, like on a par 3. It's 126 yards that hole.
Probably is a nice lie. But like again, they could just if you're Thomas and Spieth and you turn around, you see the two lads that the board is red. They could go, okay,
that's true. That is true.
We're playing Rose and McIntyre here.
Yeah,
we both have more majors than them. You know, they could just and then they start chatting, they start going, and then that's where I think. And then I trust Fitzer and McIlroy to deliver their point.
Do you think it was harsh benching Xander Schauffele? No.
Those 2 missed putts earlier on were poor, very, very poor, and the pressure got to him. That was him bottling under pressure.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough.
So I reckon he's dropped, not rested.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 2 easy putts to bring to half that game. And the second one was really bad.
That's true.
I'd miss them, but like I'm not shuffling.
Yeah, Xander Schauffele, you are not. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Have you got any kind of concerns over Rory? Obviously, what Stephen was saying, Rory looks to be absolutely humming. He seems to be driven by a lot of motivation this week. Is there a risk of emotional tiredness?
I don't think so. I'm actually happy where he is.
He's gone out last now in a few groups. Obviously, went out first this morning, so he's had a good rest between the morning sessions and the afternoon sessions. Where do you think he's going to go tomorrow? Is he going to go out early? Oh,
you're going to have to load it.
I think you could win. He's going out first nearly.
I think you could front load it. You could probably go. You're going to have to. I saw you go Rory, Ram, Hovland, Fitzer.
I think you're almost going.
Depends.
So Rory, Ram, Hovland, Aberg, Fleetwood.
Fitzer.
Yeah. And then horses in the back.
Yeah, hopefully game's done. But who do you have last? You still need a bloke last in case it goes tight. Rose, do you put Rose last?
I think it's Rose Hatton kind of in there, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Rose last and go. If it comes down to it, you've got the bottle.
Yeah, okay. So Justin Rose just missed a birdie putt on the par 3 fourth hole. Okay. Jordan, it seems, has a chance to go one up. He's got a birdie putt here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. One up now. One up through 3 matches. That's tough.
Rosie.
Okay.
That's red on the board.
It is.
It's only going to give them confidence. I'd say Ram is throwing paella all over the team room, sitting in there watching it.
Throwing paella.
He's furious in there.
He's just frisbeeing pizza across the place in disgust.
Just lasagna flying, spaghetti going. He's sitting there going.
Good. Okay. First mistake from Sam Burns there. I think from a purely partisan perspective, I like that.
Is it just, you think that because he gave it the ear, so now he's made the mistake?
I think he just missed the green.
To be fair, that pin is 4 yards off the back.
Yeah.
It's tight.
236-yard par 3. That's also missed over to the right. Colin Morikawa. That's poor from him.
Would you have to go a soft 3-wood? 236.
Okay, I take that back. That's banged down. That's like what's the elevation plane? Is the elevation plane like if it's playing like 20 down? It's what 215. So probably for me that's like a 4-iron.
I don't like it in a 4-iron.
You don't. That's true for that.
I go hard 5 and lay up. Par will win it for us, Johnny. Don't worry. Yeah. Par wins us all.
Okay.
Wyndham Clark. Is he better than Rory?
Right. Victor Hovland. Chance to respond here now. Both of them have missed the green. Come on, Vic.
Looks good.
He's drifted in a little bit.
It's just caught that slope.
He's right. So he's between Sam Burns and Morikawa. Aberg, this is your moment to step up now. I like this. The only person to go on the left hand side of the tee box as well.
Oh, he's not sure.
Why doesn't he like?
Why
does he like that?
Sit.
Stay there. Okay, that's an uphill chip.
The lie looks okay.
Yeah,
the lie looks
uphill
okay.
chip. He'll be all right. Aberg's. I'd say he's probably actually no. Morikawa's in the best position.
There's been a lot of swearing on tee boxes with like JT and stuff. I know he says he does it all the time, but there's on Ram and there's been like a lot of Sky apologizing for bad language.
Yeah, what do you make of that? I think it shows people care.
I have no problem.
I don't really. Yes, Rory. Very good. See this is what they need to do as a pairing and as the last group. They've seen three teams, 3 matches of red in front of them. They have to put a bit of blue on there to show guys, look, we're putting a fight up.
Yeah,
you guys got to be doing the same. You got to be putting a fight in here.
So 3-1 would be what 10.5 to 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, look,
would you take that now?
I would.
Would you take 3-1?
Yeah, absolutely. We just need 4 points tomorrow. Absolutely, of course.
I just noticed this and like Tommy, sit.
Oh my god, through the back.
I've
of the
noticed.
Green
So
six.
obviously the Yanks are hitting first, and they are marching nearly before the Europeans have finished their backswing through the tee box.
Yeah,
like that's definitely like.
If that was me and I was Europe, you'd slow it down. Just slow it all
really,
the way
really
down.
slow.
Just
kill their momentum.
Yeah. Before every shot, you just stand there, just looking at it, lining it up. Great shot by Nikolai Hogarth from that rough. That was very good.
Yeah, that was a shot.
From where he was, that was a very good shot. He was in cabbage, and he's gone down to the back of the green a little bit.
He's getting relief off a sprinkler, is he?
Yeah, that has to be closer to the hole, but whatever. How is that not closer to the hole?
That looks close to it. The aerial shots are so cool.
Love to see this. Brian Harman in the cabbage. We didn't see any of this in the Open.
Waggle, waggle.
Yeah,
Oh, he took a
whatever.
lot of grass there. Oh, he doesn't like it. Oh, we gotta go big. Is he going to the bunker?
No, he's fine. He's in the runoff.
Yeah, okay.
But again,
That's an awkward chip now.
but he,
Like,
yeah.
that's an awkward chip for him. Probably get relief now off the.
No, he won't because he's lefty.
Ooh,
Yeah, there you go.
makes a big difference.
He does have Max Homa though. Yeah.
Oh, would it be battle of the lefties tomorrow?
That would be good.
Bob v Harman.
But see, the thing is, like,
I know you
the,
can't
the
pick.
two
It's just
captains
random.
don't go head to head. That would be good though.
Could you imagine if they walked out and they did the 1v1? We're putting out Rory
like a
first.
draft. Yeah,
And
I
they
think that'd
go,
be great.
Okay, you're playing. We're sending Spieth onto you.
I think that'd be really good. I'd enjoy that.
That would be a press conference. It would just be, and then lads like just looking at each other through,
Yeah.
like squaring off, just getting the fists up, have a square off.
They take the shirts off and just doing a weigh in, like
Yeah. Or it's like the wrestlers, you know, they're whatever their photos are.
Bob McIntyre versus Brian Harman, shirtless, weigh in.
I'd back Bob would kill him.
Oh, Bob would, yeah, in a fight, Bob would kill
That's a
him.
great shot from Sam Burns.
Oh my god,
He's playing.
he is. Kind of just need him to chill out though, just like.
I think he's doing it for himself though.
But
And
yeah,
it's like the thing. Wyndham Clark got a lot of abuse before they're saying that he's better than Rory McIlroy, or whatever, right? You have to if you're going
I
into a Ryder Cup
believe
going,
that. Yeah,
oh, if I get this guy, I'm definitely going to lose. Well, you're game over.
yeah. What are you doing
You've got
here?
to feel going. Of course, I could take him down.
Yeah, I think a lot of
He got a lot of heat for
noise
that.
was made about nothing on that.
No.
Like
And misquoting him as well.
yeah, I think he's like he said right. Like if any player was to turn around and go, oh yeah, like I think if I was to play Rory, I'd lose. That'd be an automatic point for the US.
Like I want Bob to say that if he's going against home,
That's a good chip from Victor Hovland. Is the US team going to give that? Interesting outfit there from the spectators. They're not giving that. That's interesting. Here's Max Homa now with his approach to the 6th hole. Okay, so he's the only person that hit that green there on that 6th hole. He also had a great drive. To be fair, that was a great drive. All right, Rory for birdie here on the 4th hole.
Okay, come on,
to
Rory.
win it. Let's go! Come on,
Oh, he liked it. Look at that
bit of blue on the board.
steel. He
Let's
gave
go.
it the blue steel.
Blue steel.
Gave it the blue steel, just straight down, looking.
Oh my
looking
god!
out
How
black and
did I know? You must have clicked this, but now it's Rory against Wyndham. The media must be loving this as a head-to-head as to who's going to win after Wyndham Clark made those comments. So like, I could back myself to win. Also, like I said,
He should be. That's what we
absolutely. I think everyone should have said that.
Like if Bob gives an interview tomorrow and if he's playing, say he's playing,
is there anyone
Max Homa, and he's like, yeah, like
jeez.
he's just so good. You know, he's just better than me. I'd be like, oh,
Go-
great, Bob, well done.
go
You've just
home.
lost the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every player should have that attitude.
You have to. You're a professional golfer. You're the top 12 in the world. You're the top 12 in Europe. You match up.
Yeah. Do you want to stick with this for much longer, or how much longer do you want to do this? I'll tell you what, we're gonna finish out this hole now between Victor Hovland, Ludwig Aberg, Sam Burns, and Colin Morikawa, and then we'll call it a day on this live show. It's been good so far. I mean, I would take a 3-1 loss on this session if it was to go that way. Go into tomorrow with 10.5 points, 10.5, 5.5. Start the day with the same gap as we finish today as the same gap as we started the day. 5-point differential. I think you take that.
You would take it, and you've rested, lads.
Yeah, exactly. You've got Tyrrell Hatton, you've got John Rahm. They've had a good break.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. Great chips
Aberg
there.
needs to get something going here.
Okay.
The two of them need to get something going.
Well, look, Hovland, they both have puts to half the hole. 3 down through 7. You stop the bleeding a little bit. I think you're okay.
Yeah, you bandaged it up a bit. Like they can't go to 4.
No.
If Hovland ever go to 4, that's it. In my opinion.
Yeah, and like we need a little bit of magic here now from Fleetwood and Højgaard. 2 down. Max Homa's in pretty tight. You got to think he's going to make that birdie putt.
Yeah.
So one of these needs to do a little bit of magic to avoid going 3 down as well. Here you go. Nikolai Højgaard's going first. Put in front of the fringe. Long old putt. Come on. Come on.
That's a good effort.
It's great. Okay. Miss it by about a foot. That's all right. He's in there for par. He's asked the question.
Did he have to ask? Was that good?
I don't know. Okay. Ludwig Aberg, 7th hole to have the hole. There we go.
Do you know what?
There
I
we
like
go.
the way he puts.
I like his motion.
It's textbook.
Yeah.
The little hand on the leg, steadies himself.
Yeah, I like it.
I like how he puts.
So still 3 down through 7. I think we'll leave it at that for today's live show, guys. Thank you very much to Stephen Watson for coming on. Thank you all for watching as well. A lot of people watched. A couple hundred people watched this show yesterday. Haven't checked to see how many people have watched it now so far today.
Yeah.
But yes, and thank you very much as always, guys, for watching. Just a quick reminder that we do have a Chippy Golf bundle in collaboration with us, the Bogey Men, where you can get a driver head cover and a towel for €40. Go visit chippygolf.co. We'll put a link on this. We'll put a link on our Instagram stories and on our Twitter everywhere if you want to get it. Yeah, it's just our way of kind of getting into a little bit of merchandise and trying to just grow our community a little bit more. Any final thoughts from you on the Ryder Cup?
It's the first time I've been a little bit nervous, obviously, because there was a red on the board. So I think if it does go 3-1, it gives the USA a big chance, and it gives them something to fight in that team room when they go in.
Yeah,
I think 2-2 is massive for you.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Not losing any session would be huge.
Yeah.
All right. We'll leave it with this. Max Homa
to win the hole.
Yeah, win the hole to go 3 up through 6. Again, you'd really hope that doesn't happen.
Oh, it looks good.
It's a great putt.
The little celebration as well.
It's a great putt. Okay, 3. So US is up in 3 matches.
That was Fleetwood and Fran there. Having a little chat. Vice captain and fleet scenes.
Yeah, fleet scenes. Okay, the US is up in 3 matches. They are 3 up through 7. They're 3 up through 3. They're 1 up through 4. And then Europe, Rory McIlroy and Matthew Fitzpatrick are 1 up through 4 as well. It's going to be interesting. This is far from over. Far from over. Thank you guys very much for watching as always. We'll podcast this. We'll podcast up yesterday's show as well for anyone that wants to listen back. We have a podcast with a DP World Tour, first time DP World Tour winner, Dan Brown, coming on the podcast, coming out to you guys next week as well. And then we've got a couple of the DP World Tour winners and DP World Tour players coming on the podcast very, very soon. Very excited for us to be able to get out on tour and spend a bit more time with tour players. That's the goal for the rest of the season and for 2024. So it's all getting very exciting now for us.
Yeah, big time.
Listen, thank you guys for watching, and